Laura, Episode 3, The Crossroads, so you won't be lonely. And it's your boy, Icon, with another Netflix television review for you, going over that Laura Croft Tomb Raider. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like it or subscribe, check out my first two reviews for the first two episodes of Tomb Raider, and let's get started. And it's crazy, because like first we went from Brazil, like we were in the States, and then we went from like the States to Brazil, like now we're back in the States. But Sam and Laura, they're in New Orleans. And the black dude that we saw in the last episode, he's there in New Orleans with them. And, you know, he's just drunk around town. It's Mardi Gras season, as always, and we're basically trying to find some shit. Laura notices that, this person's following them. Like, she kind of feels it. They end up going to a gift shop that might have some information about the mask that they're looking for. The place that they were looking for, he didn't open till like 10 a.m. the next day. So they were just like, well, we might as well just wait, get some drinks, and just chill for a little bit. So Laura and Sam, like, they're getting drinks, they're chilling at the bar, and then Laura feels the presence of that black dude following them again. She feels him throughout the entire day. They end up going to the shop the next day. And the person who was at the shop, he was basically just like I don't want to say a scam artist, but he was basically just like, it was an entertainment thing where he tells you this crazy tale, and then, he gets you to buy things in the gift shop and stuff, and like he basically sells you on dreams. And he was telling them a story about, he said that when slaves were being transported, there was a specific slave ship that was made out of like jewels and diamonds, and it was carrying treasures and everything. And he brought up, he said it belonged to Papa Legba, which is a spirit that lives both in death and in the mortal plane. So he can see, they said that Papa Legba can basically steal from the dead and he can steal from the living. He can go back and forth between both. And and then he said that, but in order to stop Papa Legba, you can buy these magic herbs in the gift shop or whatever. And then Sam was just like, oh, you're a fraud, you're a phony. And then she was just like, you snake oil selling salesman. And then she got mad and she kicked both of them out. Now, the black dude that's on Laura's team, he was on comms the whole episode, and he was basically like listening in. And then Laura told him, she said that, the thing is, she said his story may sound crazy, but there's a lot of truth in these old crazy stories. So they're just they got to find out what the truth is in the storytelling. But then they were back at another bar, they were chilling, and then that's when Laura felt the presence again from this black dude, and then she ran up on him. And she's like, this guy's been following us ever since we got here, and they want to know why. He ended up having a symbol on his chest, which was the same symbol that Laura saw in the dream that she had when she drank the magic water. When she drank the magic water, and then she was just like, oh, this guy might actually have the keys and the information that we seek. And he told her, he said, look, although that shopkeeper is basically just trying to sell you things in his gift shop, he said that the crazy shit, he said the irony of all that bullshit that he was saying, and Sam actually did say, she was like, what a bunch of horse shit, but he said the irony is all that horse shit he told you, the story he told you, it's actually true. He said that there is a ship that's sunk down there, there's treasure down there, but there's also like a sea beast down there, which was responsible for like, destroying the ship to begin with. So then he said that every single time that guy tells that silly tale, there's always going to be at least one person that hears that story that wants to know scuba lessons so they can go down there and try to find the treasure. So then they're just like, well, Laura already knows how to swim. So then Laura paid him to basically show her where the boat was so she can go get it. Laura goes into the water, she goes into the drink, and when she goes into the ship, yes, there's diamonds, there's jewels, there's all sorts of treasure, but there were also 2 masks that were on that ship. And when Laura found the 2 masks, the Amazon bitch came out of nowhere, tried to fight her, and now her and Laura are fighting underwater, and there's a shark down there trying to kill them both. And I'm convinced at this point this Amazon chick has like a tracker or something on Laura, because she just seems to pop up every single place that Laura goes. It's almost like she's dead ass like following her. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. We didn't hear anything from her boss yet, so this is getting interesting. Because I still don't feel she's the bad guy. I feel like she's being like controlled somehow. Because there were 2 masks and they were fighting over both masks, Laura ended up getting one, and then the Amazon chick got another one. So they're trying to figure out what was the point of it. And then they find out, like through reading, like through books and everything, the 2 masks basically belonged to 2 twins that were healers. And they were healers. So this particular mask is like the power of heart, where it controls the power of healing. After that, the drunk black dude, he came back, and then he was like, oh, so you found the ship? And he was like, so what sort of gold, diamonds, and treasures did you guys find on the ship? And then he saw the mask that Laura had, because again, there were 2 masks. The Amazon chick got one, Laura got the other. He saw the mask on the table, and then he was like, what are you doing with the mask? How did you get the mask? And then she was like, we found it in the ship. And he was like, well, that wasn't supposed to be there. And then he looked at Laura, he was like, bitch, there was jewels down there. Like, there were diamonds. There was all sorts of treasure down there. He's like, why do you have the mask? And he's like, where'd you you get the mask? And then he was like, where's the other one? And then they said that somebody stole the other one. All we have is this one. And then he got upset. And that's when he stopped being like a drunken mess. And he kind of got a little like emotional because he told, and then that's when Laura figured it out. She was like, you're one of the Ashe or whatever she called him. And then he said that the mask belonged to his sister. And I don't know if he has two sisters that are both twins, but he said that the mask belonged to his sister. And he said that the thing with him is he is the god of death or whatever. He said he's the spirit that can travel both, you know, through the dead and both through the living. He's the master thief of both the dead and the living. He is Papa Legba, the all supreme. And then there was like lightning and like woo-ha-ha-ha and like all this scary shit. And that was how the episode ended. And thank you for tuning in. So they're trying to lead us to believe that he's the bad guy here. And I mean, I don't think he's the bad guy because the way he reacted when he saw his sister's mask, like he was, you know, he's basically just like a drunken mess, you know what I'm saying? Because when we first saw him, he was in a graveyard because, you know, he's a hobo. And then, you know, that was actually pretty interesting too because the black dude on the comms that they talked to, like their friend, he was saying that he never knew his family ancestry, and it would be nice to know where his family actually comes from. Obviously, we're going to find that out before the season's over. And they're leaning very heavily into black culture in this season, and I respect that because we're going to tell this shit, let's keep it real. And like they're talking about slavery, they're talking about slave ships, and slave transportation and everything. So like, respect for that, for keeping it 100, keeping it real. And I look forward to seeing how the rest of the season progresses with all of you. Check me out on TikTok, check me out on Instagram, check me out on X on YouTube, where you can leave your comments and concerns. What do you think about episode 3 of Tomb Raider Laura Croft? Is this black dude the bad guy? Like, is he really bad? Is he going to join them? What's going on with his sister and everything else in between as we roll on for some more Tomb Raider Netflix goodness. That was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Signing out for the mean streets of New Orleans, the God for the power and the voodoo, because we're out this bitch.